Oof. This report is so boring. Numbers, accounts and statistics. I hate it. I'm an artist. When I was younger, I used to write short stories, novels, poems, and I was good at it. What has happened to my inspiration? What am I doing here? A publishing house, that's where I would like to work. Okay, Victoria, stop dreaming. Let's get back to the report. The boss wants it on his desk at 5 this afternoon. Oh, isn't there anything more interesting to do? Like listening to some good music.
Telephone.
Oh, the phone. Hello, this is Victoria Lee. Oh, Lucy, what can I do for you? No, I'm not busy. Well, actually, I am very busy. I have to write a boring report for the boss. Anyway, what is it? Is there a problem? What? Mr. Lewis wants to speak with me? Really? Yes, yes, of course. Put him through. Good morning, Mr. Lewis. It's a pleasure to hear from you. How are you? I'm fine, sir. What can I do for you? Yes, I know the product. It's very interesting, innovative, and the marketing department thinks it has a lot of potential for the international market. What? Me? Really? Thank you, sir. Yes, yes, immediately. Yes, yes, Victoria. Today is your lucky day. Bye-bye, boring report.
So, you are Anne Baxter.
Yes. Yes, I am. I'm sorry. Really, I'm so sorry.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mr. Stevens.
How do you do? I'm so sorry, Mr. Stevens.
Anne, please, sit down. It's all right. How are you today?
I'm a little nervous. And this isn't a good start.
That's all right. Well, Anne, where are you from?
I'm English. I'm from Oxford.
Great. A true Brit. Can you speak any other languages? French, German, Spanish?
I can speak French, a little Spanish, and a few words of Italian. My sister is in Rome studying history of art at university.
Okay. Very interesting. And can you use a computer? The internet?
I'm not a genius with the computer, but I can use one.
Great, Anne. I have your CV here, and I see you already work here. What do you do exactly?
I do this and that. I usually work from home. I have an office in my room with a big desk and 2 chairs. And
Fine. That's fine. And do you live alone?
No, I share a flat with my Australian friend Alice. And there's a new flatmate now. His name is Jack. He's from New York. He's very nice.
That's fine. Great, and you're very well prepared. You have a good education, and you're very precise. You're just the person for this internship.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Stevens. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Right this way. Anne, this is Gary. And this is Rachel.
Hello. Hi. Pleased to meet you.
Rachel is a very important team member at our publishing house. She knows everything about the company.
Thanks.
She was our first employee in 1985.
1985.
And she can answer any questions you may have. Okay, Anne, you're in good hands. Have a productive day.
Oh, all right, Anne. Are you ready? Well, Mr. Stevens founded this publishing house in 1985. Oh, just a moment. Okay. I'm ready now. Our first product was a children's book. It was very successful and sold more than 3 million copies. We had 20 different translations. Over time, the company changed and diversified, and we have now fiction, cookbooks, and tourist guides.
Cookbooks and... I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Tourist guides. We also have an encyclopedia of history and one of art history. Sometimes we publish economic texts, and our catalog with over 10,000 titles makes us one of the most important publishers in the country.
10,000.
We also employ more than 150 people. Is everything clear?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, as you know, this is Gary. He works in the advertising office, where he develops new client contacts and keeps in touch with our authors.
Pleasure to meet you, Anne. It's so nice to have such lovely colleagues in this company.
Fine, Anne. Okay, let's move from theory to action. Okay. This is your desk. Here's your computer. Mm-hmm. You know how to use one, don't you?
Yes. As I told Mr. Stevens, I'm not...
Okay. No need to waste time. Okay. Over there is the fax and the photocopier. Okay. There's a coffee machine in the hall over there. Mm-hmm. But please, few breaks and keep them short. Do you understand?
Yes.
Excellent, Anne. Get to it.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Chang. Excuse me, I was just rearranging my office. Take a seat, please.
Thank you. It looks very nice here.
Thank you. Well, before we begin to talk about our new product, I would like to give you some information about our company. Speedmaster Spectre is a multinational company which specializes in well-designed, high-tech sporting goods. Founded in Los Angeles in 1995, we now have 15 branches worldwide.
That's very interesting, Mrs. Lee. How much is your company's revenue?
Over the past few years, Speedmaster Spectre's revenue has grown impressively. Today we have a turnover of more than 60 million euros of revenue. Our revenues abroad amount to more than 50% of that total.
Very impressive. And what are your target markets?
We have product lines for men, women and children with gear covering head to toe. Our brand is synonymous with reliability. Speedmaster Spectre is trusted around the world and we are considered one of the leaders in our sector.
Great. So, what can you tell me about this new product?
This is a revolutionary new tennis shoe. It's extremely durable thanks to our high-quality materials. We're interested in the Southeast Asian market. We believe that these shoes are the right product for that market.
And where are they manufactured?
Right, that's our strength. We have factories that meet all work standards and regulations in the countries we would like to target.
And what is your role, Mrs. Lee?
In the past, I was responsible for the Southern European market. Just last week, I took on a new role to test and distribute our products into the Chinese market. It's a very challenging position.
That could deliver positive results. Together we can do great things, Mrs. Lee. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Lee. This meeting has been very profitable for both of us. Let's talk soon.
Thank you, Mr. Chang. And yes, let's meet again soon.
Great. Bye-bye.
Good morning.
So, are you ready?
Yes, quite ready.
Okay, then let's begin. Hello, my name is Gary Reynolds from Pilgrim Publishing. May I speak to Mr. Jones? Mrs. Jones, how are you? And how is that wonderful apple pie of yours? I'm fine, thanks. Certainly, I'll hold. With a wink and a nudge, you can get whatever you want, even imaginary apple pie. This author is too important for us.
Right.
Hello, Mr. Jones. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. I wanted to know if you are interested in contributing to a new cooking guide that we have to bring out soon. Yes, it's a 6-volume collection of recipes to fit the needs of all tastes, with a detailed photo guide for preparation and cooking techniques. And we have to have the materials by the end of next month. Right. Exactly. Sure. Of course. Yes. Excuse me. Could you hold on for a moment? Anne, that's enough. Stop now. I can't concentrate.
Oh, sorry, Gary. Sorry.
Yes. As I said earlier, if you accept, I can send you a copy of the contract that you should sign and return. No, I'm sorry. We can't wait until next Tuesday. Well, I'll have to check with my boss. I need to ask Mr. Stevens if we can organize a meeting for next week. In the meantime, do you need any prep materials? No problem at all. I can send you an email immediately. Okay, goodbye. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Do you always have to take notes?
Yes, I do. I have to learn as much as I can, and there's so much to learn. I study my notes every evening.
What a model colleague. You're so serious, so diligent, and an absolute nut about cleaning. Truly an asset to this company.
You're making fun of me.
No, of course not. It's such a shame. Such beautiful eyes shouldn't only read all the time.
Come on, Gary, stop it. Let's get back to work.
Okay. I mustn't pay you any compliments then. So, Ms. Baxter, can you give me the notes from my conversation with Mr. Jones?
Okay. So, you said to Mr. Jones that... Oh, I have to start from the beginning, right?
Anne, calm down. It's not an exam. I know what we should do. You should try a telephone call.
Me? Oh, no. No, I'm not ready yet.
Sure you are. It's not that difficult.
Okay.
Here,
Who do we have to call next?
try to call Mr. Clifford.
Right. Hello, this is Anne Baxter from Pilgrim Publishing. Please may I speak to Mr. Clifford? Oh, I see. All right, thank you very much. Right, Goodbye.
Well, what happened?
Well,
Come on, tell me.
I dialed the wrong number.
So, Mr. Stevens, may I begin to explain our typographic services?
Just a moment, Mr. Richardson. I'm still waiting for our new intern. She has a lot to learn, and I think our meeting would be very useful for her.
Good morning. I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Stevens.
Never mind, Anne. Anne, this is Mr. Richardson.
How do you do?
Good morning.
Anne, I see you've had your hair done. Very nice.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Stevens.
It looks like you were out late last night. I hope you had fun. Were you at a party or perhaps a club?
Oh, no. I was at home. Actually, it was quite a difficult night. And anyway, I don't want to bore you with my personal problems.
Right. So, Mr. Richardson, tell us about your typographical services then.
Founded by Charles Emerson, Montex has been active in the typographic market since 1985. From the beginning, we have been known for our innovation and high-quality products. Mr. Emerson's children, John and Lucy, have continued the tradition by improving and enlarging the family business. The first Montex office was located in Russell Street.
Oh, Russell Street! That's where the flower market is. I went there just the other day and bought 2 beautiful yellow orchids. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Richardson. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
As I was saying, over the years and following changes in the market, our company has diversified and extended its line of products. We've purchased the latest technology, offering our customers the best package available on the market today. In 2000, we moved to a larger office space in order to improve production. Our new headquarters are located in Rodney Road, and we have approximately 55,000 square meters at our disposal.
Well, that's a huge space.
Yes, that's right. It's very big. Anyway, our first success was with brochures, marketing flyers, pamphlets and company catalogues. We also provided business cards and general printing services. Over time, we moved into book publishing as digital technology and expansions in the market gave us the skills to enter the market. Currently, we're equipped to provide highest quality publishing at an extremely competitive price. Our current capacity is more than 100 million pages per year.
So, Anne, have you understood everything? Would you like to sum up what Mr. Richardson has said?
Me?
Yes. Could you?
Oh, all right. I'll try. Established in 1985 by Charles Emerson, Montex has successfully grown and adapted to changing client needs. In 2000, the company transferred to Rodney Road, where, thanks to cutting-edge equipment capable of high volume, it has optimized its production and extended its offerings, specializing in the publishing sector. Currently, it provides top-quality printing at extremely attractive pricing.
Well done, Anne. You have a great ability to summarize. You know, Mr. Richardson, we aren't very pleased with our current typographers. They don't meet deadlines.
Professionalism, efficiency and punctuality are the keys to our success. Do you know that in just a few years the number of Montex clients has grown by 100%?
And what sort of printing do you principally use?
Digital printing and offset printing in the case of high density needs.
What? Offset printing?
Young lady, you work for a publishing house and you don't know what offset printing is?
No, sir. I'm afraid I don't. Is it important?
Anne, offset printing is the classic way in which a graphic project done on a computer is converted to the final printed page.
I get it. I get it. Well, it is important. It's extremely important. What an idiot I must seem. I basically told you I have no technological know-how. You know, Mr. Stevens, I am studying the editor's manual that you gave me, but I haven't got to the letter O yet.
We're meeting here today to show Mr. Chang our new Smarty tennis shoes. These innovative shoes are made of high-quality materials and are perfect for the Southeast Asian market, which, as we all know, is expanding rapidly. We're especially interested in the Chinese market, which is growing at a pace much faster than the rest of the world. Excuse me for a moment. Henry? Hi. I'm sorry, but I'm in a meeting right now. Let's talk later, okay? All right, tell me, but hurry up. No, Henry, I never told John he could watch TV all day. He must have misunderstood. All I said was that he can watch all the TV he wants, but only after doing his homework. This really isn't the right moment, Henry. I'm sorry. Can we continue this conversation later on this evening? Pardon the interruption. Now, as I was saying...
Excuse me, Victoria, but do you think this is the right product for the Chinese market? I think that before we export Smart in the Southeast Asian market, we need to take a close look at the local competition and the market status in the sector.
Excellent observation, Paul. We've actually already done market research, and as Mr. Chang can confirm, demand for sporting goods in China has grown by 50% over the past 10 years. Far Eastern consumers are increasingly interested in the latest fashion. They have become the most demanding consumers of fashion and quality in the world. Isn't that right, Mr. Chang?
Oh, yes. Your fashions have reached our shores. Fashion is law, especially for young consumers. In fact, purchases are driven more by trends than by the actual products.
And what about the competition, Victoria? It's a well-known fact that labor costs are lower in China, and the shoes produced in China are much more cost-competitive than in Europe.
Right again, Paul. However, our shoes are manufactured with high-quality materials that target an upper-level segment of the market. This market segment is quite happy to spend more on products that are well-equipped, last longer, and are of a higher quality.
Do you have any data on how Smarty sales are going in Europe and in the States?
Yes. Our marketing department sent me the latest report just this morning, and I'm happy to say it's very encouraging. Smarty has become one of our most successful products of the last few years. Demand is growing exponentially, and the satisfaction level of these shoes is much higher than that of similar shoes produced by other companies. In fact, Smarty shoes are considered one of the most durable, the most functional, and, most importantly, the most popular amongst the youth market.
And what about the distribution? It's a very important aspect that we shouldn't underestimate.
Yes, Mr. Chang is here to help clarify this issue for us.
It is extremely important to have a detailed distribution and promotion plan. We've also got to create a reputable chain of agents to distribute our products over the widest possible area. This, in turn, will help us make importation easier and reduce taxes for entry into the Chinese market. Look, I'm very happy to provide you with any information you may need, as well as contacts inside the Ministry of Industry and the Chamber of Commerce. But, of course, Success depends on your goals, your strategy, and the type of financing plan you're willing to provide.
And besides that... Oh, excuse me yet again. John, what do you want? I told Dad I'm in an important meeting. No, John, I didn't say that. First do your homework and then you can watch TV, okay? And listen to me. I don't care if your friends aren't studying today just because it's a holiday tomorrow. Do you understand? Tomorrow we're going to see your grandparents, so you have to study today. That's enough of this story, John. No, that's not true. I'm a good mother and I love you, but it doesn't mean I don't have the right to tell you what to do. Listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Goodbye. Pardon me, just a little domestic problem.
Well, yes, Mrs. Lee. We all know that kids cause more problem than work.
You're right, Mr. Chang. Kids, anyone who understands them is a genius.
Hello? Is this Montex Typography? Good morning. This is Louis Stevens of Pilgrim Publishing. I'd like to speak with Mr. Emerson. Oh, he's in a meeting. I see. Could you put me through to one of his children, to John or Lucy, please? Oh, they are also in a meeting. Fine. Then may I speak with Mr. Richardson? You don't mean to say that he's also in a meeting? Yes, I see. Is there anyone that I could speak with to find out if our order has already gone to press? I'd also like some information about deliveries. Yes, I see. They're all in meetings. Could you take a message for Mr. Emerson? Ask him to call me as soon as possible, ASAP. I'll be in my office until 4. Thank you. Goodbye. Well, they certainly do like meetings at Montex, don't they?
Good morning. This is Gary Reynolds of Pilgrim Publishing. I would like to speak with Mr. Smith, please. Hey there, little guy. Could you give me your father, please? I see, he's not in. May I speak to your mom, then? I see, she's out as well. Okay. Does that mean that you're home alone? No, is there an adult in the house? Your babysitter. Okay. May I speak to her? Yes, hello, this is Gary Reynolds of Pilgrim Publishing. No, not Penguin. Pilgrim. Right. I wanted to speak to Mr. Smith about a new cookbook series that we're preparing. No, you've misunderstood. No, I'm not trying to sell anything. I don't sell encyclopedias. No, listen, I work in a publishing house, and Mr. Smith is one of our authors. No, hey, wait, don't hang up. Hey, could you... Hello? Well, let's try someone else. Mr. Fox. Good morning. This is Gary Reynolds of Pilgrim Publishing. Answering machine. Great. Yes, good morning. This is a message for Mr. Fox. I'm Gary Reynolds of Pilgrim Publishing, and I was interested in finding out if you would like to participate in a new cookbook series that we are publishing soon. You can contact me at your earliest convenience, and you can reach me at the number 786-8776. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Well, seems like today is just not my lucky day.
Oh no, the answer phone. Alice! Hello, it's Anne. I need to speak to you urgently. Please call me as soon as you get this message. I've got lots of news to tell you about Peter and Sharon. I imagine you're interested. Anyway, no news for now. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Peter telephoned to say that he'd called Sharon about Japan, and do you know what she said? I'm not going to tell you. Call me and you'll find out. Okay, bye. Speak to you soon. Oh, you can reach me at the office. Bye, bye.
Pilgrim Publishing, good morning. Who is this? Yes, this is Mr. Stevens' office. With whom am I speaking? Oh, good morning, Mr. Emerson. If I'm not mistaken, you're the head of Montex Typography. This is Rachel Gordon, Mr. Stevens' assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you. On the phone. No, I'm sorry. Mr. Stevens isn't in at the moment. He just left. Yes, I know it's 4 o'clock. No, unfortunately, he was called away unexpectedly. Would you care to speak with me? No, don't worry. There are no secrets between Mr. Stevens and myself. Yes, he telephoned to find out if you had already begun work on our order. And I think he also wanted to know about the means of delivery. Uh-huh. Fine. Ah, Mr. Stevens will be pleased. Yes, taken note of everything. In any case, I'll have him call you tomorrow morning. When will you be in? At 10. Okay. Fine. Goodbye, Mr. Emerson. I look forward to meeting you in person.
It's Fran. Hello? No, I'm sorry. She's not here right now. Who's this? Alice. This is Gary. Right, the Joker. Which, by the way, was Anne's idea. No, I didn't want to go along, but she insisted. No, I don't know where she's gone. Perhaps to make some photocopies. Would you like to leave a message? Uh-huh. Okay, I'll tell her to ring you as soon as she returns. Are you at home? No, your cell phone. Okay. All right, bye. Oh, hey, Alice. You seem like a really nice girl, even if we don't know each other. May I ask you something? No, it's just that, well, would you like to have dinner with me tonight? But please, don't say anything to Anne. She might get angry. No, I know you two are such good friends. You live together. Okay, don't get worked up. Listen, I was just joking. All right, bye, Alice. No, bye. What a hothead. You really can't say anything to her. Such a pity. I would have liked to take her out. She is very nice.
So, Anne, how did your meeting with Mr. Stevens and the Montex representative go?
Quite well. Actually, it was very interesting.
Did they come to any agreement?
Well, for the moment, Montrax is going to print 3,000 copies of our next series of cookbooks. Mr. Stevens wants to give them a trial run and see how they work. If they meet their deadlines and price competitively, he'll sign on for larger deals in the future.
Well, we're hoping to optimize our work and to drive down costs a little. And the publishing market is in a deep crisis. Readership is dropping rapidly. which is driving down sales. At the same time, production costs are increasing because of foreign rights acquisition as well as distribution costs.
As a matter of fact, I haven't bought many books recently. Tell me, Rachel, does this crisis also affect us here at Pilgrim?
Certainly. The negative trends of the market are felt throughout the sector, beginning with those who work in it. In any case, I'm optimistic, and I'm sure this is just a passing crisis, and that the publishing sector will soon recover.
That's probably what Gary wanted to talk to me about this morning. I saw him, and he said that he had something very important to tell me.
Uh-huh.
What? Why are you making that face?
No, it's nothing, Anne. It's just that I don't trust Gary. He's a Latin lover and full of himself. He chases all of the pretty girls around here, and you are just his latest victim.
Look, Rachel, I'm perfectly capable of looking after myself. I only have a working relationship with Gary, and that's how it's going to stay.
Sorry, Anne. I certainly didn't mean to offend you. I'm quite aware that you are an intelligent young woman who can keep men like Gary at a distance. In any case, I just wanted to warn you. I'm sure you'll agree with me once you get to know him.
Yes, to be honest, I am a bit worried. Profits are down 8% over the last few months. And just yesterday, I read an article in Media World that confirmed my suspicions. Forecasts for the publishing market are quite pessimistic. And the general feeling is that things are going to continue to go downhill based on current trends. The next 5 years could see a further drop of 20%. If we leave out bestsellers and fiction, then the entire publishing market has taken a direct hit. Or, better, is in a downward spiral.
But what about sales?
For the moment, they're stationary, but we won't be able to improve them. In fact, we'll have to stop publication of our encyclopedias of history and art history, with awful consequences for those working on these projects.
Are you saying that we'll have to lay people off?
No, not for the moment. But if things continue like they are, we will have to let some of our people go.
Oh my God. There must be something we can do to keep from cutting staff.
I'm meeting with Mr. Stevens this afternoon to discuss the situation. We're going to focus on new objectives for the company in both marketing and sales. Perhaps we will develop a new line of economic paperbacks, which might help sales.
But the other publishers are already doing that successfully. I think we'll need to develop new products to encourage new market opportunities.
Well said, Billy. I've already got an idea to suggest. It won't resolve all of our problems, but it could bring about some interesting developments.
And what might this new idea be?
Anne!
Well,
Anne, are you in there? Hey, you! I'm looking for my friend Anne. Is she with you? Anne! Surprise!
Anne, hello. Come back to Earth. Someone's looking for you.
Alice, what are you doing here?
Well, I came to see where you work, Anne. Could you give me a tour? So, these are your colleagues. Oh. What long faces. Are you always like this? We need a little fun to lighten things up in here. Why don't you invite them to the party this evening?
No, really. I don't think, well, today's really not a good time to be talking about parties. Why don't you come back some other time? And perhaps Warn me in advance, perhaps. Bye-bye, Alice.
Right. Anne, are you ready for your next telephone call?
Oh, yes.
Okay, you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradford. He's a great author who has worked with us for years. He's quite friendly, and he's quite a wizard at the stove. He opened a restaurant a few years ago, but he sold it to move on to writing cookbooks. He knows 1,000 tricks in the kitchen, and he can make anything taste great, even tomato soup.
Oh, come on, stop it, Gary. I've only had half a sandwich today, and hearing about tasty treats is driving me crazy.
I know. Speaking of eating, when are we going to have dinner together?
You don't know when to quit, do you? Enough joking around. Well, let me give the kitchen superman a call.
Okay, but don't forget to pay him compliments. This guy just eats them up.
Hello, good morning. This is Anne Baxter from Pilgrim Publishing. Please may I speak to Mr. Bradford? Oh, Mrs. Bradford, hello. I've heard a lot about your husband. He's quite the chef, isn't he? Yes, I also enjoy cooking, but I'm not in the same league, of course. Well, I'm calling to propose a new cookbook series to Mr. Bradford. We're going to be taking it to press soon. Okay, yes, thank you. Yes, I'll hold. Good morning, Mr. Bradford. Hello, this is Anne Baxter from Pilgrim Publishing. First of all, congratulations. You're a legend around here. But as I was telling your wife, I'm calling to see if you're interested in participating in a new cookbook series that Yes, I know that you've always spoken to Gary Reynolds, but I'm the new colleague who's been assigned to this project. I beg your pardon? Well, excuse me, Mr. Bradford, but I don't understand why you consider Mr. Reynolds to be more competent than myself. In any case, if you'd like to speak to him, hold on a moment. I'll put you through.
Hey, Mark. How are you? Yeah, I think you upset Anne, our new intern. Oh, she's a fantastic colleague, diligent and hardworking. Yeah, let's set up a meeting so you can meet her. You'll be very impressed. She's also a great cook. In the meantime, I'll send you a detailed outline of the project. Okay, and we'll see each other Tuesday at 10. Okay, right. Bye, Mark.
Well, what a pleasant person he is.
Oh, come on, Anne. Don't let him get to you. Mr. Bradford is just a little shy with those he doesn't know. But you'll see. He's quite a lot of fun once you've met him. Why don't we take a short break?
How about a little fun on the telephone? I need to relax and have a good laugh.
Okay. But who should we call?
I know. Let's call my flatmate Alice. She's always looking for new boyfriends, and you could pretend to be a friend of Jack's, the other flatmate, saying that you saw a picture of her and that you'd love to meet her.
Okay, but she isn't going to get angry with me, is she?
Oh, no, we'll tell her it was just a joke. Come.
Hello?
Is that Alice?
Yeah, this is Gary. And I'm calling because...
Well, I'm a little shy.
And I'm a friend of Jack's, and yesterday he showed me a picture of you. And, well, I think you're pretty cute.
Hello? Could you speak up? The line is terrible.
Yes, I'm also having problems. This line must be congested. My name is Gary, and I'd like to get to know you a little better.
What? Who are you?
I'm a friend of Jack's, and yesterday I saw
A picture of you.
How could that be? What picture?
Don't raise your voice with me.
Me, Alice.
In the picture, there were 3 people. One was Jack, one was an ugly girl, and then a very beautiful lady. And
Jack told me it was you.
hold on, while I put you through to a friend of mine who doesn't agree with me about the ugly girl.
Hello? Who's speaking?
This is Alice, and I urgently need to speak with the other guy. I think his name is Gary.
I'm afraid I can't hear you. Could you speak up?
I said I urgently need to speak with Gary.
Oh, I'm afraid Gary's very busy at the moment. If you'd like an appointment, I can fit you in the beginning of next month.
What? You are joking, aren't you? I told you I need to speak with him immediately.
Alice!
It's Anne.
It's a joke. And you fell for it completely.
Anne, you scared the hell out of me. What a stupid joke.
Okay, maybe it was a stupid joke, but you bought it hook, line and sinker.
Hi, Anne. Have you got a moment? I just have to show you a few things.
Alice, how many times have I told you to call before you come and visit me at the office? If my boss finds out, I'll be in trouble.
Oh, yes, I know. You're right. I'm sorry. Anyway, you are on your coffee break, and I just need some advice. I'm going out with Philip tonight. You know, the handsome guy I met at the library last week.
Oh,
I told you about him, didn't I?
I don't know, Alice. I've lost count. Every week there's a different guy. And what's so important about him that you couldn't wait to see me?
What if I wear this tonight?
It's nice. Red suits you.
Really? But if I wear this, I'll have to find the right black shawl. By the way, can you lend me the one you bought last Saturday?
Alice, it's brand new. I haven't even worn it yet.
Come on, Anne. I told you that this date is really important to me. Okay. What if I wore this one?
That's pretty too.
Yes, but if I wear this one, it would go better with your blue hat. Could you lend it to me?
Oh.
Please, Anne.
Oh, Alice, no, not that one. It was a present from my sister. I'm very attached to it.
Oh, please, Anne. Come on, help me, please.
Okay, it's impossible to talk you out of anything anyway. But if I'd known you were going to borrow my entire wardrobe, I would have immediately told you I was very busy.
Thanks, Anne. You're the best.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going now. By the way, what would you say if I told you I had broken your camera?
You've done what?
Oh, come on, Anne. I'm joking. Oh, I think work is making you just a little bit too nervous. Bye.
Yes, Mr. Jones. The collection is divided into thematic volumes. Your volume will be the first, dealing with starters. That's right. Yes, recipes should be written clearly and precisely. Well, I'm not sure I agree with you there. Ingredients should be written separately, directly under the title of each dish. Okay, I'll expect your first installment next week then. All right, goodbye, Mr. Jones. Goodbye. Excuse me, Gary. Has Mr. Bradford got in touch yet? Gary? Hello? I asked you a question. Could you answer, please?
What's up, Anne? I'm sorry, I'm writing the contracts to send out to the authors.
Have you spoken to Mr. Bradford yet?
No. Could you give him a call? I'm really very busy at the moment.
Okay. Could you at least tell me where you are with him? Has he sent us the materials? Gary? Hello, Gary?
What?
Please, can you tell me what is so entertaining about drawing up contracts?
Why?
Because you're glued to your computer and you keep laughing like a fool.
I'm just in a good mood today.
Come on, Gary. I'm not stupid. What are you doing?
Okay, you've caught me out. I'm chatting. It's great fun. Would you like to give it a try?
No, thank you very much. And you shouldn't be chatting at work anyway. Mr. Stevens might notice.
Now, why would he? If he walks in the door, I'll just close the window and continue typing up the contracts. Anne, relax. Let's chat a bit together.
No, I'm afraid I can't. Somebody needs to work around here. Now, could you explain how I should proceed with this? You spoke to Mr. Bradford, so could you give me some details on your agreement?
Yes, he should have sent some materials in 2 days ago, but we still haven't received anything yet. Give him a call and see where he's at with those.
Hello, Mr. Bradford. This is Anne Baxter from Pilgrim Publishing. Hello. We are still waiting for the materials you should have sent us 2 days ago. I just wanted to know if you were having problem. Well, what does the index have to do with it? I'm afraid I don't understand. No, it's just I wasn't aware that... No, I don't think... What, could you just hold on a second?
Hey, Mark, this is Gary. No, don't worry. Everything's just fine. Anne just didn't know. Have you finished the index then? Okay, great. We'll expect your email then. Okay. Bye, Mark.
I hate you, Gary. If you spent a little time filling me in instead of chatting on your computer, I might just know what's going on around here.
What?
Ooh!
Mrs. Lee, excuse me for disturbing, but I need to speak to you for a moment.
You're not disturbing, Mr. Chang. What can I do for you?
Perhaps it's none of my business, but considering the importance of the deal for you and your company, I want to be absolutely sure that everything goes smoothly and that no ugly surprises are around the corner.
I don't understand, Mr. Chang. What are you getting at?
You see, Victoria, I value you highly and trust in you, but I don't like people going behind my back.
What are you insinuating, Mr. Chang?
Victoria, I know very well the woman who visited you in your office yesterday, Mrs. Baker, Human Resources Director for Play, the world's largest sporting goods chain.
And?
Mrs. Baker is well known as a headhunter. You know, those personnel managers who rob other companies of their own talents to employ for their own companies. So tell me, Victoria, what did Mrs. Baker want from you?
You're right. Mrs. Baker made me a very interesting offer, but I certainly have no intention of accepting.
Are you quite sure, Victoria?
Look, Mr. Chang, I had an interview with Mrs. Baker last year. At the time, I was working for Spectre, but I was very unhappy. I had been hired to work in the business office and had expected more important assignments. But unfortunately, my work was very monotonous and boring, nothing that met my expectations. So I sent a CV to Play, they contacted me for an interview, but there weren't any positions open at the time. Therefore, I stayed at Spectre. And there's another thing, Mr. Chang. I have a dream. I've always wanted to work in a publishing house ever since I was a teenager. And that's also why I wanted to leave this job. Numbers just don't go with my creativity.
And what about now, Victoria? Do you still doubt about your job? And what about your expectations?
Well, now things are different. I've taken on a role with more responsibilities, and I'm working on important projects like this one. It's been a double victory for me. Not many women have such prestigious positions, and I'm quite proud of that. I finally have the chance to demonstrate all my abilities, and I have no intention to renounce that. You have to believe me, Mr. Chang. I have no intention whatsoever of betraying my company.
I believe you, Victoria. I certainly appreciate your sincerity. You're quite a capable young woman. And I'm certainly very pleased to have solved this little misunderstanding.
Excuse me, my name's Victoria Lee. Today's my first day at work, and I'd like to know... Great. Great way to start. Where is everybody? Mr. Stevens told me I was going to meet my new colleagues, and they were going to explain everything. Wonder if I've come to the wrong department.
Ah, you must be the new arrival. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Rachel.
The pleasure's all mine. My name's Victoria Lee.
Mr. Stevens asked me to show you the office and explain everything. So, over there is the fax and the photocopier. This is your desk and computer. What else? Oh, yes, you'll find a coffee machine down the hall. But please, remember...
Few breaks, and please keep them short.
This gentleman is Gary Reynolds, head of marketing.
How do you do? I'm Victoria.
Mr. Stevens tells me that we're going to be working closely together. I must say, it's quite a pleasure to spend so much time with such a lovely young lady.
Happily married woman, married with a son, as a matter of fact.
Well done, Victoria. Let him know who's who. Gary's the kind of guy who can't control himself with attractive women.
Thank you for the compliment, Rachel. Let's get down to work. Here's an analysis of last year's investments. As you can see, we've consistently improved our bottom line in all sectors. Even if, as far as I'm concerned, we need to move more aggressively into the market.
What exactly do you mean?
Well, improve our e-commerce play, for example. Let's imagine for a moment that Pilgrim were to develop an advanced online catalog that would allow users to purchase directly online. Don't you think that this way we could dramatically cut our distribution costs?
Certainly. But what does Mr. Stevens think?
Well, he's a bit old school in his way of thinking. According to his worldview, we should focus on sales through more traditional channels. I, on the other hand, would be thrilled if you saw things more along my lines. Why don't we develop a realistic marketing strategy that includes possible e-commerce earnings? Perhaps we could convince him together.
I'm afraid I can't at the moment, Gary. I've got to focus on the bookkeeping to begin with.
Listen, why don't we have a little dinner together tonight and then continue working at my house?
I'm married, remember, Gary? Statistics, accounts, reports. Not much has changed from Spectre. And I was hoping for a more creative position.
See you later. Oh, hello. You must be the new hire. I'm Anne Baxter.
I'm Victoria Lee. I recognise your name. Have we met before?
I don't think so. Or perhaps we met at the Red Lion pub. I often go there with my friends.
No, it doesn't sound familiar. Actually, I have a son, so I don't get out much. But still, I've heard your name before. Just a moment, now I remember. We met on the telephone when I was still working at Spectre. We both had that problem with our courier, Fast.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I remember now. You were having problems with a shipment to China. Gosh, what a coincidence. Well, who would have ever thought we would end up working together? So, how are things going?
Well, it's still too early to say. Today's my first day at work.
Oh, well, I presume you've already met Gary.
Yes, earlier. We're working on a project together.
And I bet he's already invited you out to dinner.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
And he's probably told you that he loves working with charming young girls such as yourself.
Yes, and how do you know?
He always uses the same line. He did the same with me. How original. Well, I'm pleased that you've joined us here, and well, I hope we'll become great friends.
Yes, well, I'm sure we will. You're very nice. And who knows, maybe that telephone call was destiny.
Who's in charge of delivery to the Blue Moon bookshop?
Ann and I. Why?
They've just telephoned complaining that they haven't received anything yet.
Well, that's impossible. I sent the delivery 5 days ago.
That's just it. I don't understand what could have happened. The merchandise should have arrived by now. Anne, call the shipping agents to find out what's up.
Hello, am I speaking to Fast Shipping? This is Anne Baxter from Pilgrim Publishing. I'd like to follow up on the merchandise we sent 5 days ago. Sorry? What? That's impossible. There must be some mistake. You can't have delivered it. Our client has just telephoned saying that they haven't received anything yet. Okay. Okay, I'll take a look at the paperwork and get back to you. Yeah, bye-bye. Well, Fast claims that the goods were signed for by the consignee.
Rachel, go get the bill of lading. We need to look into what caused this mistake. Gary, are you sure you provided the exact address?
Certainly, I still remember it. It's 35 Lafayette Avenue, Orange.
That's it, all right. What about the duty? Do you remember paying it?
Duty? Excuse me, Mr. Stevens, but we're EU members and aren't required to pay duty. Merchandise is free to move between the member states, and duty is no longer required, nor is documentation.
EU? What does Europe have to do with it?
Excuse me, but Orange is in France, isn't it?
Good God, Gary. Blue Moon is in Orange, but not in France. Orange is a city in Massachusetts, USA. Call the bookshop immediately.
What an idiot. That's why I paid less on freight charges than was budgeted.
Hello, Pilgrim Publishing. This is Anne Baxter.
How may I help you?
Hello, this is Victoria Lee. I'm calling in regards to the shipment. I was wondering if you had
Any news yet?
Yes,
Actually, I was just about to call you.
unfortunately, there's been a misunderstanding, but don't worry. We're taking care of things on our end, and you should receive
The goods very soon.
Could you tell me exactly what's happened? My boss is extremely upset. The shipping documents were in order. According to the bill of lading, the supplies should have already arrived. Can you explain why the merchandise is blocked in the custom warehouse?
Customs? Oh, no, you see, I'm afraid there's been a slight problem in addressing the goods, and they've been sent to a destination in France instead of Massachusetts.
France? Massachusetts? What are you talking about? The merchandise was destined for China.
China? Excuse me, are you the owner of the Blue Moon in Orange, Massachusetts?
No, I'm not. I work for Spectre. We're a multinational sporting goods manufacturer. I'm speaking with Fast Shipping.
Well, actually, no. This is Pilgrim Publishing. I'm afraid you've got the wrong number. But we do have something in common. We both use the same
courier.
Life is funny. I dial a wrong number, and who do I call? A publishing house. Maybe it's fate. Nice young woman as well. What was her name? Anne Baxter, that's right. We use the same couriers and are both having problems with deliveries. What a strange coincidence.
Mrs. Lee, Have you spoken with fast shippers yet?
Not yet. The number's always busy.
We have to figure out what's happened. This delivery delay is costing us a lot of money. The courier assured us that the merchandise didn't have to pass through customs, that it would have left their warehouse with the customs bill already compiled, without any additional customs requirements.
That's right. Considering the shipping costs, they're so high because they include all international delivery costs, such as transit, loading and unloading, assembly, and warehouse storage costs.
Just a moment. I've got it. Did you remember to attach the certificate of origin, Mrs. Lee?
The certificate of origin? I don't really know what that is. It's never been required for our shipments.
The certificate of origin is that document which states the merchandise's country of origin for customs purposes. It's absolutely necessary for companies doing business in countries which don't belong to the EU, provided upon customs officials' request. And China is one of those countries.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Collins. I didn't know. I swear it. Up until now, I've never taken care of shipments.
This is going to be one very expensive mistake. Oh, by the way, I'll be taking our losses caused by this delay out of your salary.
Welcome back, Gary. How was the International Book Fair in Frankfurt?
Great. I cultivated a number of interesting contacts that could lead to great opportunities. I also participated in a very important conference on the current state of affairs in the international book market.
Oh, do tell, Gary.
Yes, okay, but just a brief summary because I've really got to get going. Mr. Stevens wants a report on the trade fair ASAP, and I've been away for 3 days, so I've got a ton of work to catch up on. In any case, a number of the top company representatives from the largest international publishing houses participated. The most interesting presentation was surely that of John Schumann, one of the top experts in the publishing sector.
And what did he have to say?
Excuse me, just a moment. It's one of my contacts from Frankfurt. As I was saying, John Schumann, using the most current data as his starting point, he determined that the publishing market is growing slowly and that the number of readers is stagnant. It's the readers who already buy books and who want to increase the size of their libraries who are responsible for sales.
To cut a long story short, the current crisis has been around for a while.
Unfortunately, yes. Just the other day, a friend of mine from Amsterdam in the publishing trade was telling me that his company has had to let 15 people go since the beginning of the year.
You're kidding. Does that mean that we could become redundant?
No, Rachel, I just finished telling you that the trade fair was a huge success. We've just got to look at these things over the long term. It's the latest technologies that will offer the most success in this market.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about digital editing. We are on the cusp of a revolution in publishing. In other words, the transition from printed publishing to digital publishing.
I'm afraid I don't agree with you, Gary. Internet, email, CD-ROM, DVDs, and all electronic gadgets put together will never substitute the joy of reading a book.
I know, Rachel, you are a Luddite, but this is the future. The owner of a multimedia publishing house from Stockholm told me that they were able to greatly lower production, distribution, and warehousing costs, all due to digital publishing. Not only that, but just think of the level of interaction we can achieve with readers via internet. And besides that, just a moment, excuse me.
I bet it's one of your important contacts from Frankfurt.
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is.
Judging from your expression, I'd say that these contacts are mostly female.
Oh, hi, Victoria. Why weren't you at the meeting this morning?
Which meeting?
the meeting that Mrs. Collins called with all the department heads to come to grips with the situation. And I quote, to discuss the means with which we can improve both production and company efficiencies.
No one told me anything. I bet she did that on purpose, my darling boss. She wanted to get back at me for a mistake I made on a shipment. She always keeps me out of the loop on all the important developments and makes me do the work of a secretary. I hate her.
Come on, Victoria. Chin up. Things will get better.
I'm not sure about that, Paul. Anyway, tell me, what did you discuss at the meeting?
Well, you can imagine the tone that Mrs. Collins used. She prefers cold and distant. She urged us all to work even harder to overcome this difficult moment for the company.
According to her, we should be working 24/7, 365.
Listen to this. She told the warehouse manager to calculate the efficiency of workers more precisely as they go about their tasks, and if necessary, to lengthen their hours. Then she invited Mr. Rover, the personnel director, to evaluate the necessity of any new hiring. She told him that from now on, each and every short-term or long-term plan must first be evaluated and approved by her.
I always said she was a dictator.
Yeah. And she claims that we should be delighted at her flexibility, and that many corporate heads she knows would just resort with a huge personnel cuts to improve the situation.
Oh, what an understanding woman.
You bet. Then she added that companies need to meet deadlines and to work within strict budgets in order to keep clients satisfied and remain competitive in the market. Finally, referring to you, she reminded us all that delays and errors in projects are absolutely unacceptable. What are you doing, Victoria? Are you taking notes?
No, I'm writing my letter of resignation. Paul.
Don't tell me this is true. Are you really going to leave?
Yes, Paul. I just can't stay here. Since Mrs. Collins has arrived, the work climate has become unbearable. She never misses an opportunity to humiliate me and to assign me the most demeaning tasks.
And what are you going to do now?
Well, I've got in touch with a number of companies. This afternoon, for example, I have an interview with a publishing house.
Publishing house? You're not going to become an author, are you?
Precisely. You know it's always been a dream of mine. I don't think the interview is going to focus on my literary talents. But, Paul, you look awful. What's the matter?
I'm a bit concerned about things. We're having a meeting with the major shareholders of Spectre to take a look at the balance sheets.
And is that a problem?
Well, as you know, the year-end balance sheets provide an overview of the economical, fiscal and fiduciary effectiveness of our management. And I certainly hope that scrutinizing the books won't uncover inconvenient discrepancies that could lead to a change of a company leadership.
What exactly are you referring to?
As you know, things haven't been rosy lately, even if there has been a slight improvement in share prices during the last quarter. However, at the same time, the outstanding debts to our suppliers have also increased. In other words, our revenues don't cover our expenses.
The situation is serious then.
That's right. I'm afraid we'll need to resort to additional outside financing. I've been calculating the various balance sheets entries to understand what's causing our debts and try to develop a plan of attack to get our weak points under control. The results are anything but encouraging. As you well know, the solidity and integrity of our financial core assets are indispensable to keeping our production capabilities intact and revenues flowing.
I certainly wouldn't want to be in your shoes at the meeting.
No kidding. I'm predicting lightning and thunder. I wish I didn't have to participate. Perhaps I could come down with a sudden case of flu or something. How about kidney inflammation accompanied by high fever caused by a highly contagious virus mysteriously present in the company? You'll laugh, but now that you won't be here, I'll have to double the work. By the way, they don't happen to need someone else at the publishing house you were speaking about.
So you're a secret author as well?
No, but I can do a lot of things. For example, use a computer, make photocopies, send faxes. That should be enough, shouldn't it?
What a clown. I'm going to miss your jokes, Paul.
Yes, I see. I understand. But it has to be done by Friday. Is that possible? Good, good. It's very important. We'll be in touch. Thank you. Goodbye. Mrs. Lee, you've got an exceptional CV.
Well, thank you, Mr. Stevens.
I don't quite understand why you left Spectre. According to this, you were in a position of considerable responsibility.
That's true. I was very satisfied with my job at the beginning. I had a very prestigious position and many high-profile projects were sent my way. However, once Spectre was taken over by a Japanese multinational, things just took a turn to the worse. My boss was let go, many of my colleagues were transferred, and I was relieved of my duties. And of course, well, maybe I shouldn't tell you.
Please do. No reason to be afraid.
Well, the truth is, I just didn't get along with my new boss.
I appreciate your frankness. Sincerity is one of the main qualities that I look for in my employees. But tell me, Mrs. Lee, how are your bookkeeping, invoicing, and administrative skills?
Excellent, I would say. But I wanted to speak to you about an...
Are you familiar with the publishing market?
Yes, to a certain degree. But as I was saying, ever since I was a child, I've always been fascinated by...
You can tell me about your dreams at another time, Mrs. Lee. Currently, we're busy with our year-end balance sheet, and I need a well-trained assistant to prepare an assessment of our administrative expenses and to study our assets and liabilities. You, considering your experiences, appear to be a perfect fit.
Well, thank you, Mr. Stevens. But once this emergency has blown over, I was wondering if perhaps you could take me into consideration as a...
Yes?
As an author. I'm quite talented. My literature professor at university used to encourage me.
This is not a school, Mrs. Lee. I got in touch with you to speak to you about our marketing office. That's what I'd like to hire you for. Please don't be offended, but keep your dreams to yourself for the moment. As far as books are concerned, we can get started on the bookkeeping immediately.
Certainly. But later?
We'll see. We'll see.